Hallo, ek is Iti. Welkom by my kanaal waar ons als saam doen. In today's video, I shed light on the big question of when should you use the verb RAAK and when should you use the verb word in Afrikaans. First off, you should know that these two verbs are partial synonyms. That means that sometimes they function as synonyms and sometimes they don't. In this video, we will focus mainly on the context where they are similar and used as synonyms. I will touch on the other things briefly. Now, if you look at what is written on my left, you'll see at the top, om te word. That infinitive means mainly to become. So not exclusively, but mainly, om te word or word embodies the word or verb become, to become and becoming. Om te raak is also to become, but in a lesser fashion, I would say, because it is one of many meanings of RAAK. RAAK is very versatile and it is slightly different in its deep meaning than word, but they are very widely used as synonyms in quite a few instances. Om iets te word means to become something. Om iets te raak also means to become something. Top left, you'll see the word RAAK, and just below that, the word word. Now, where they are similar is in the meaning of to become or becoming, and also getting. But that is getting as in I am getting there. It's not getting as in getting something from someone. It is the he gets there, I'm getting there, it will get there. That get. And both of these words, raak and word, are translations for get and become. But I will say that raak encompasses more of getting and word encompasses becoming. However, we do in Afrikaans now use those two very interchangeably in those contexts where something is becoming, something's turning into, something's getting. Then we use word sometimes and we use raak sometimes, and there are instances where it's either the one or the other, but it's not for the most part. Not 100%, but for the most part. It will not be frowned upon. Almost never. If you use the two interchangeably as you see fit, because that is what is happening in the Afrikaans language now. More and more. Some people, depending on where they live, depending on the culture, choose to use raak more often than they use word in this context of becoming or getting or turning into, that sort of thing. And some people choose to use word more often. So we will take a look at that a little bit more. You'll see with raak, the getting translation, and then become. And then another thing is raak is also a verb that means to affect. To affect someone, something, or to touch someone or something. That is some of its other meanings and uses as a verb. On the far right, you'll see aanraak and raak aan. That is the specific to one verb or two parts of that one verb that we use to refer to physical touch or emotional touch. When you touch somebody, ek raak jou aan of ek gaan jou aanraak means to touch, either physically or emotionally. And then you can see with word, become, becomes, becoming, that is its main meaning. But also, it's also get or getting, and then it's used in another fashion that is not get or getting, but like being. We'll get to that one. And there is where it is different from a RAAK. It's still almost in this context. All right, but I will explain all of this more. We start with raak en word as synonyms. You'll see in the yellow it says verb plus descriptive word. That is simply the general word order when you can use a raak or word, right? So there'll be a verb and then a descriptive word, an adverb or an adjective, and not another verb directly after the first verb. Then it's generally raak or word. If you want a more clear directive, if the English says getting or gets, then you can use raak, because raak is a closer embodiment representation in meaning for getting. And if you want to have a more solid rule for word, then if the English is becoming or becomes, then use word when in doubt. But you can use them interchangeably. It's not going to be wrong when speaking. So let's look at the examples. Dit raak of word donker. It's getting dark. If it's becoming dark, it could be word donker or raak donker as well when you speak. That'd be fine. Raak or word dit ooit beter. Does it ever get better? Now there's get again, but it's either or. Ek word of raak lui. I am becoming lazy or I'm getting lazy. Die boek het gewild geraak of geword. The book has become popular. And again, now there's become, but in this context, because it's become, which is the verb, and then popular, descriptive word, you can still use raak or word. And it's not wrong. Remember, it's not 100%. This rule is not 100% of the time, but it is a good general rule. Some more examples. Ek raak of word oud. I'm getting old. Ek word of raak wakker. I wake up. This is a little outlier where you have in the English, you don't have become and you don't have get. If you were to write the English sentence, it would be, I am becoming awake, but you don't. You just say, I wake up. And in Afrikaans, it's still ek raak wakker of ek word wakker. Al twee, both are acceptable. Sy het 'n goeie leier geword of geraak. She became a good leader. Hy word of raak môre 40. He turns 40 tomorrow. Now there again, it's not become or gets, but it is sort of he's becoming 40 tomorrow, right? That's what he turns imply in English. That is why it's a raak or word in Afrikaans. Keep that in mind. Dit het duidelik geword of geraak dat hy gelieg het. It became clear that he lied. This is the last situation we take a look at. And this is the verb plus verb. So it just means that there mostly will be two verbs involved, as opposed to previously where you had a verb and then a descriptive word. But this, again, is not 100% thing. There are cases where you will use only raak or only word, and there's no verb plus verb involved, and it's still a verb and nothing, or a verb and a descriptive word. So again, it's not always, just like 99% of the time, it has either this one or that one. Again, so it is never very clear cut with raak and word. So the first one is raak betrokke by atletiek. Get involved in athletics. This one is not a verb and verb situation. It's just raak, the one verb. But in this sentence, in the Afrikaans, you are not going to use word. Word betrokke by die atletiek. You can technically, but it's not something you hear and it sounds incorrect or it sounds uncomfortable. So it'll be raak. Raak betrokke by die atletiek. So there you see get involved. When in doubt, and it's get, use raak. Then second sentence, now it has two verbs, forms one concept. Sy word sleg behandel. Sy word sleg behandel. And the translation is, she is being treated badly. Now I must say the verb plus verb is in Afrikaans, not the English. Verb plus verb, there'll be word behandel, two verbs in the Afrikaans. You'll see the English translation usually then do not have a become or a get. It's not one of the two. There's no, it's is being. And if that's the case, then it is word in the Afrikaans. She is being treated badly. Then it's not sy raak sleg behandel. It's sy word sleg behandel. The next one, also two verbs, one concept. Sy, waar word die klere gemaak? So word gemaak. Waar word die klere gemaak? The English, where are the clothes made, or where are the clothes being made? Then it's again word in the Afrikaans. There's no get, there's no become. There's a being, if you put it in the sentence in English. Then it's word, not raak. And the last one, ek hoop jou drome word waar. Again, there's just one verb, it's just word. The translation, I hope your dreams come true. Now it's come. It's also become true. In this sense, word is not a translation for the verb come in every case, right? Only in this case where it's like your dreams become true. Only in this case, then it's word. Alrighty-tighty. This was my attempt to clarify how to use raak and word, specifically in the context of getting, becoming, that sort of thing. I did not touch on the other meanings of raak and the way to use raak that is completely away from word. I only looked at should it be word, should it be raak in this video. I hope that this helps you. If it doesn't, let me know in the comment section. If you have more questions, also let me know. If you have more suggestions of other things, also let me know, please. It helps a lot. All right, have a good day or a good evening. Sleep well or just work well. I'll see you in the next video.